Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Discombobulated. I'm your host, Bobby J Cox. We do have to start with sad news this week. It is a friend of probably every comedian that is, I don't know, probably most comedians know and love. Sorry. I knew I'd probably get sad, but I don't want to get, I want to be able to get this out or whatever without, just crying immediately. Yeah. A friend of mine, a friend of probably you, if you've ever met this sweet man, but, Kenny Deforest, comedian, all around amazing person. He is, in the hospital right now. As far as, most comedians understand, he's in the hospital. He is unconscious, but hopefully will remain stable. Sorry. I don't think, here's the thing, and I don't fight off tears. The only reason I'm fighting off tears is because I have this, you're sad, but you're also like, we have this hope that he's going to be okay, because Kenny Deforest is one of the funniest, most original, sweet humans that you could ever hope to meet. And so it's sad to hear the news that he was riding his bike, and I believe he got hit. He is now in the hospital. But here's the thing. Let's talk about how cool Kenny fucking Deforest is. And I know I said Kenny Deforest, but I'm worried I said another Kenny's name because I'm so. I was just talking to my buddy Kevin White on the phone. We're both kind of just still processing it, because you see that news and it's that kind of a shock where you're like, really, like that comic? Because here, for real, you don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, but you're like, I mean, I think most comics could probably think of like fucking, I don't know, if I'm being real, like 16 comics. You're like, anyway, no, that's not a good way. That is not a good way to think. I am trying my best to, just fucking to get through this and talk about my buddy Kenny Kynes. That's it. I just said Kenny Kynes. Kenny Kynes is fine. Oh my God, that's how fucked up I am. It's Kenny Deforest. Kenny Kynes is A-okay. Kenny Deforest is not right now, but let me tell you how I met Kenny Deforest. Let's talk about. I remember meeting Kenny Deforest. We met a couple times in St. Louis. I was just talking to my buddy Kevin White about this, and I was just thinking about restarting the podcast because I messed it up, and I'm like, no, dude, that's how ADHD is. I'm like thinking about my buddy Kenny Deforest, and then my brain just slips into saying another Kenny's name. But I met him. I remember there were certain shows we did that were like he did at Cicero's in St. Louis, and my buddy Kevin White, they would do bare knuckle comedy with him and Christian Lawrence, and they would bring comics up from Chicago once they started moving there, and that's how I got to know Kenny. I knew him from a couple shows in St. Louis, and he was just truly always the sweetest guy. And isn't it like it's always like it always sounds like that when you're talking about someone. You're like, he really made you feel special when tragedy strikes, but he really was that way. I was just talking to Kevin White on the phone, and we were just like, dude, he was like, he was always that guy that when I met him, like some comics they'll be like, oh, nice to meet you, and kind of move on. But not Kenny Deforest, dude. I met him in St. Louis, and I remember going to Chicago, and we all hung out. And then I remember seeing him in New York, and he did a show. I think he was on Comedians You Should Know, if I remember this right. And we were hanging out outside, and we were all hanging out. And everyone was nice to me, but everyone was like, there's so many fucking cool comics that to see a guy from St. Louis on like one of his first trips to New York, you're just like, nice to meet you, I'm going over here. And who has not or would not do that to anybody is Kenny Deforest. Kenny Deforest would walk right up to you and be like, "What's up?" And he would look at you right in the eyes. He would ask how you were doing. He would take in what you were saying. He is like, because they always say like certain comics are broken or whatever, and maybe, but I also feel like there's a lot of comics that come from love and their jokes resonate with love, and that's 100% how Kenny is. Yeah, I remember just like fucking going out in Chicago, and we were just fucking ride around on the trains, dude, and just hanging out, and he'd be that guy that you're just like he's saying something that's making everybody laugh, but then also is like he's like, "Oh guys, you know where we should go? It's like right over here." You know what? I'm gonna go as far as to say that Kenny Deforest is like that true alpha male. Because a lot of guys think that being an alpha male is being a fucking asshole guy. And I don't think that's it. Kenny Deforest is like one of those guys because he cares about people. He cares about the group. He makes sure you feel loved. And it's not even in a sacrificial way. Like, he has love himself. He has a lot of self-love that resonates off of him. He doesn't just do it to make people think he's a good guy. He really deep down is. And I mean, I really don't even. It's crazy to think that. Yeah. Sorry, the beginning of this is not gonna feel smooth, and which is crazy because I don't feel like I talk smooth ever. But it was just crazy news. I didn't expect to hear or see that. So, and then I started watching. I called a couple friends, and then I was just like watching his clips. I started like I just went on his Instagram and started like watching stuff, and I was just like, he's always so fucking funny, and like you got like, it's weird that like while I'm thinking about Kenny and hoping he's okay, he's comforting us. Like, that's insane. Like, oh fuck. It's just, yeah, it's wild. And I was like watching his bits. Dude, he's been on Seth Meyers. He's been on The Late Late Show. Been on Comedy Central. I hate that when I started saying this, I was just thinking about all the great things that he's done besides just being a sweet guy. And I feel like I'm about to bring him on stage. That was so weird. What was that? I was like, oh man, my buddy, guys, he's got a GoFundMe. You've seen him on Comedy Central. Put your hands together for Kenny Deforest. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, he's so sweet. He always makes you feel welcome. He always makes you feel seen, important. And I can't stop thinking about him. And I hope, I hope to hear more good news. But that is good news. I'm so glad that he's okay. It could have been so much worse. I'm still glad. But yeah, it's still, it's very, fucking scary to think about, man. But yeah, it's good that there still is like love, because I'm like I called my buddy Kevin, and he was just didn't answer right away because he's just a bad guy. No, I'm 100% kidding. Just trying to self-soothe my sad self. And he called me back, and I was like, oh, and we just started like talking. I was like, what do you know? He's like, I know probably about as much as you know. We're probably gonna go to the hospital tomorrow. And we started talking, and then I was just like, I don't, Kenny out of everybody. He's like, I know, man. And then we just started talking about him, and it's someone's like genuine when two people have the exact same experience of a guy. Like, we were both like, and I'm quoting Kevin, but he's like the hot girl at the party that makes you feel cool. Like, he's like walks up, and she's just like, what's up? Giving you full attention. Like, he could go do whatever he wants, you know what I mean? And like, we were talking about it, and my buddy Kevin was like, some guys will like, Like you'll be talking to them and they're like darting around. Like, should I be like, oh, is that a better conversation? Like, should I be going somewhere else? He's like, Kenny doesn't do that. And that was like my point. It was just like when I saw him in New York, I was like, yeah, maybe I want to move here. And he like looked me right in the eyes. He was just like, you can do it. He was like, if you wanted, you could move here. He's like, I could message certain people. Like you could probably work for this here. And most people will still be considerate and be like, yeah, but he was like, yes. And here's some other stuff. Like to fucking say you should, and then I'll help. I mean, when you're really like thinking about it, like that's about as, what more do you want from a human? Never asks anything from other people, never demands anything. Like just as just as fucking absolute sweetheart. We did a show, we were in New York together, and I passed out at the bar. I'm like a guy where if I was not doing well, people would be like, yeah, what happened? Did Bobby jump out in the middle? Like what, Bobby? God damn it, Bob! Like, but not Kenny. And I was at the bar and I just like all of a sudden just like didn't feel good. And I kind of passed out, but I was like, and you're like, what do you mean kind of passed out? So my head was down and I could hear everything, but I was just like, I don't feel well. I need to put my head down for a second. I even told that to the bartender. And then like Kenny was there and he had left and I guess it came back. And I remember he was like, wait, is Bobby okay? Like he had like, I saw him, he's asking about me. He's like, okay, good. But you know what I mean? But also didn't do that thing that like, doesn't like just a sweet guy, like didn't come over and he's like, well, let me get him a water. Does he like, he was just like, is Bobby okay? He's like, yeah, he's like, okay. Like just the perfect kind of person, man. Like just the perfect guy. I love him. I love that guy. Oh my God, dude. Fuck. I'll be honest, I just had like that thought where I'm like, God, I hope I wake up, where I was like, I was having like a dream inside of a dream and like, yeah. But, oh my God. Anyway, he does, I'll say this because I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like I'm in limbo. I feel like I'm in between feelings right now. But he does have, there's a GoFundMe and on, you don't always have to look at the bright side, but I am like right now it feels good. And, the GoFundMe is at about like, I think the goal is $100,000. And when I first saw it, I think that one of the first posts I saw, it was at like, I don't know, fucking 20 something, 30 something like that. And then as I started like looking stuff up, and then I saw like every comic was just posting, he's everywhere. That was what Kevin said. He's like, dude, I got on there. I'm like, everyone was sharing it. It's like, that's how you know someone's loved, is like, he just like I was like, you never know how far someone's ripple goes, and his fucking reaches very far. And I think it's at like 80 something now. I could be wrong, but I believe that was like where it's at. So it's like, that's good to know that it's, that it's growing, and that he's loved by so many people, and that so many people want to share. And you can do it too. It's on my bio. It's on probably every comedian's bio right now, for like a week, and then we really got to get back to promoting shows. We got stuff we got to do too. Isn't that so fucked up? That was what me and Kevin were talking about too. Is that we're like, dude, like. I was like, dude, someone right now is like, oh my God, someone saw that post, and there's a fucking comic out there that was like, oh man, was he at the Stand tonight? There might be a spot open. You're like, Kenny, we're sorry, but also like, I'll be at fucking Helium coming up. That is so fucked. God, that's so fucked up. I would say he would laugh at that, but that is not my place to say. I don't know. He would be like, no, Bobby, that's fucked up. Keep mine on the bio. But I really do think and hope that they meet their goal. And I hope that then they surpass that, and that our buddy and friend and all around absolute sweetheart. I'm even thinking of other stories that I know about Kenny that I don't, yeah, those are stories for a later time, but he's so sweet that you couldn't, yeah, I really do. He's a top tier, top fucking shelf, amazing human being in person, and I hope that he has a quick recovery. And I just, yeah, I feel like everyone's feeling like this right now. Everyone doesn't really know where to go or what to do, because there are those people that sometimes something happens to, and you're like, that's so sad. It was bummer, dude. Do you want to go get coffee or something? You want it's just a fact in some way. But yeah, me and Kevin were talking on the phone. We were making each other laugh. We were reminiscing. We were laughing. We were having a good time. His girlfriend Jenny was on the phone too, and she was being so sweet. And she was like, "There's a lot of good, positive things." Like I said, like the fact that he's stable and everything. And me and Kevin were making each other laugh. But then we were just like, I rarely feel at loss of words or not know where to put my feelings. Yeah, with this, yeah, it's just tough. But God, what a fucking lovely guy. I can't recommend enough. Go donate and just help whatever you can. If you can, I know that, you probably know someone who's in need too. That's the sad reality of life. But, just so you know, he is one of those guys that you could go right now for free on YouTube. And while he is, fighting and being the strong guy that we all know, strong, amazing human. You can also watch. He can soothe you, and you can watch him make you laugh, and you fucking will. God damn, dude. What the fuck? Oh, so what? Okay. It would almost be great if I was like super religious right now to be mad at God, but I also know that's how you know I'm not completely escaped it, because as soon as I saw this, I'm like, okay, God, I know I don't believe in or talk to you, but can we? Even if you're real, we probably can agree. Kenny Deforest, good fucking guy, right? Fucking great guy. Let's make sure that fucking guy is okay. All right. Oh my God. This episode is sponsored by stamps.com. I don't know what to say next. I really don't. All right. But yeah, Kenny's a guy who I love watching him fucking live too. God, he's so good, dude. Kenny is a comic that you'll see him do a bit that you've like probably written in your phone, or you're like working out, and even though both of you would agree it's like parallel thought or whatever, you know that even though you're not stealing or whatever, you'll see it and you're like, fuck, Kenny has the bit, and it's like that's like I had this I was in a parking lot one time, and I was walking to my car, and there was these I guess I was like I had to be like 30, something like that. And I'm walking to my car, and it's like we're like the last customers, and there was like two girls that they were driving, so they're like 16, something like that. And I'm walking behind them, and my car, like we're all walking the same direction. And I'm like, oh, but I also didn't want to stop because that seemed weird. And I was like, I'll try to as I try to veer around and go, they turn around and saw me, and they're like, oh, bye, Chelsea. And they like hopped in their cars really fast. I was like, oh, I'm like a creepy guy on site now. Like I'm trying to go around, and they're like, ah. And Kenny had done like a bit about that I won't butcher or whatever, but he was like basically asking to he's like, hey, do you guys want to play basketball? And they're like, what? And he's like, am I that? He's like, I'm that guy now. And his take on it was so fucking funny. And I remember just like watching that, and I was like, fuck, that's it. Like that's it's parallel thought. No one's like or whatever, but you see that and you're like, that's nice job, my friend. He's so fucking good. God, I love that guy. Everyone does, man. How could you not fucking love Kenny Deforest, dude? And Kenny Kines, who I accidentally mentioned earlier. He is A-okay. He is fine. Message him and be like, I love you. I'm glad you're okay. But, oh my God. But, yeah. Yeah, I love you, Kenny, and I know a lot of people do, and we're thinking about you, buddy. And fuck. Anyway, oh, sorry. No, I'm not. Okay, I've almost been tearing up for about 20 minutes. Okay. What should we talk about now? Yeah, I realized, I got busy this weekend and I realized today was Sunday. So I was like, I should probably do the podcast. And then I saw this and I was like, wow, no way to glaze past this, is there? Oh, fucking life is all fragile. That sucks. Great reminder, life. Thanks for that. Oh, we're so fucking fragile. We got big buildings and they stand up and we're all... Damn it. What should we talk about? I really don't know. Man, I'm not going to can the episode. I want it to... Let's talk about some fun stories of Kenny D, dude. Kenny D was one of those guys that, like, whenever I went to Chicago, go hang out with Kevin, I started meeting like comics up there, and then a lot of comics who later like would go on to like move to New York, do late night spots, all this shit. I remember like hanging out with those dudes, and those guys made you feel like I felt like a freshman that was like, hey, come hang out with like these seniors, but like at the after party. It was like the best. And he'd be like, I remember what comic? I don't want to dude, there's a bunch of comics, whatever. I don't want to. Someone brought beers on the subway. They're like, you guys ever had Subway beers? I was like, sure have not. I honestly don't even know if I had one. I think I might have been like, I'm okay, mister. Like I was so scared of like, dude, I think like Chicago was one of my first like, that was like one of the first cities that they go on the road to. I might have been a little, I was like, no, thank you. And whatever. And they're drinking on the subway. And then they're like, dude, isn't this the best? Just doing bits with those guys, going from fucking city to city. Then you'd watch him crush. Then you'd watch him be sweet to every single person that like walked by. Like Kenny is a guy that I would like see a lineup. And if you're like, oh, Kenny's in town, you're on it. You're like, I would get excited to see him. I'd be like, what's up, dude? And you're like, oh my God. Like he's a guy, if you're like, if he didn't like you, you're like, hey, am I a bad guy? God, what a fucking sweetheart. Oh, yeah. If you're a comic and you want to know how to, like, you want to know the trajectory of, like, how to just be so unique and just exactly yourself, I think that's what Kenny Deforest completely, like, emulates consistently. So, he's great. So, I literally almost was like done talking about him right now, but he can't be because end the episode. Click. Bye. Oh, yeah. What am I gonna? I went to the mall the other. Like, what the fuck? But he was recently just in town, and I did not get to see him. I had shows, and that's the real reality is that, like, we really don't, like, people always say that, and then every once in a while you kind of get lost in that idea that it's okay to not think about people not, being okay or something like that. But fuck, it really doesn't seem real. And then you start, just fucking very, very sad. Oh man, I just want to give that guy a hug right now. Just want to see my buddy. But anyway, yeah, you never know. So I will say, because there are a lot of comedians know Kenny, but also certain people have no idea who he is. So I hope you look him up and watch him. And I bet you have a guy in it. That was it. That was the other thing we were talking about. I was like, the thing about what I've kind of noticed about comics is I feel like some of the ones that are that we all know, they're like you'll see them and you're like, he reminds me of someone. That's how Kenny was. Like, you'd be like, he reminds me of someone, or she, or they, and like you'll see someone who you're like, they feel familiar. And there's always a cream that rises to the top. That's like, you see him and he reminds you of someone. And I had a buddy in high school that like Kenny reminded me of, because Kenny's like that fucking. He was like that guy that like played sports but wasn't a fucking douchey bro. He was like, I play sports, but he was kind to everybody. Like also like, yes, always seemed like just like all the like women loved him too, but also was like gave zero creepy vibes of like, I'm gonna go talk to that girl. Like, you're just like, girls like talk to him like, and he's just like, yeah, fucking. Yeah, full of love. I really keep losing trying to make like a cohesive point about it, but there is no way to do that. And God. Oh, dude. Anyway, this dead air is great. I can't imagine this episode not being just so helpful for people. No, I gotta believe that it is. I gotta believe that even if you don't want to hear me, I really can't. Just fucking turn me off and go listen and watch the love of all of our lives, Kenny Deforest. A guy who's so tall he could be a fucking asshole and just take over the world, but instead doesn't. Just a true, caring, loving, sweet, probably stoic, probably does more work. Also, one of those, you realize that it's like, well, we're all doing healing. He's even trying to help himself. And just fuck, truly one of the best of us all. Truly. So, oh my God. Yeah, I really, you realize all the stories you have about someone like I'm like, every story I have is like at a comedy club. I'm like, what am I going to say? I'm like, one time he made me really laugh really hard when we were all hanging out. Like, that's what's crazy is you're just like, and he always would invite you. Like, whenever he always would make sure you felt, that you felt that connection. And I feel like that's what, that's what life is about maybe. And I don't know if I'm going too fucking, if I'm just in my feels, but I feel like it is about like, you're like, I want to include other people. I realize that other people feel probably how I do. So let's have like an understanding and a love with everybody. And he was probably one of the best in doing that. So is the best at that. Why am I talking like this? Sorry. I think you guys got to understand, right? You guys know how it feels going through this stuff. Fuck. But oh, jeez. It is the holidays, and I really will say that. I really do hope that you have people that you love, that you care about, that you, to miss people and to know that I'm like, fuck, like to be thinking about Kenny, to know how fragile life is. It does make it, it is so fucking, it is special. I'm not being like fucking religious or whatever, but I mean that like in like a fucking beautiful spiritual, we don't know what the fuck's going on way. And he is strong and he is a force to fucking be reckoned with. And I just keep rubbing my leg because I don't feel well. I don't feel good. This is why This is why like I remember being a kid and you would like look at adults and they have that thing like this is why people like smoke cigarettes and stuff. Like I literally whenever I got the news I was like I really don't want to smoke, and you just see that and you're like fuck. Am I gonna? It won't make me feel any better, but fucking I got to feel you're like you want to feel something. Oh man. Well, if you're sticking with this, I really do appreciate it. I'm kind of talking through this just because oh my God. Oh man, wouldn't it be nice to be at like what is it? Would you be a psychopath or a sociopath if you could just be like, not feel things? Who doesn't feel things? Because I want that right now. Probably drug addicts, and then also I don't know if it's psychopath or sociopath, but I would love to just be able to turn off my brain right now and not care. Oh God, I hate the fuck. Why do you feelings? What? Oh, why? Why do we have to have these? Why do I have to feel this? Why do we have to? And people are like, that's why it's special. Well, maybe it doesn't need to be special. I don't. Ugh. I'm not. Yeah, I really feel how fragile life is. That's why I do like laugh about it, and you try to talk about it because it's fucking wild. This finite, beautiful thing, and I gotta sit in the news that that there are so many people that love him that we're all like collectively lucky to feel this way and to know that we all feel good. Everyone, I think it was like if it was like at about fucking 80,000 and there was like about a 900 something. I was like, I did the math. I didn't do the math. I asked Google to do math. Yes, try to sound smart while you're sad, you dumb fucking idiot. But everyone probably donated about like $100, which, I mean, to know that everyone cares that much and that fast, like, because I think this had happened 2 days ago, or people started posting about it 2 days ago. Like, this is very recent. And, yeah, like I said, I hope this isn't a bummer for everybody. You got to know the reason I am sad is because Kenny is such a loving person. So that is why I'm sad, because I'm just thinking about his speedy recovery, thinking about him doing better. And as me and my buddy were saying on the phone, just like, yeah, not gonna imagine a world without Kenny, because it's not happening, and it's not. He's the best. So, and you're the best. And let's talk. Even though I've talked for fucking the whole podcast about and just trying to be like on the people be like, well, you kind of teetering on tears, and then also you kind of wrap it up, and we're like, okay, good. We all love Kenny. We're thinking about Kenny, and then you keep bringing up stories, and then you can't finish them because you're fucking. Your brain ain't good, buddy. Sorry. No, I'm not. But here's some people I did get to see and that I love. I got to see David Brooks was in town, a comedian from Indianapolis. He came to town. He was headlining. I had the pleasure of opening for him. And you know what we did? We had a night on in the town that fucking Kenny of Deforest would have loved to have been a part of. We got to hang out. And at one point we were just in the car and we were going to hang out with other people. We're like, yeah, let's go here. There was an emo night with fucking Dan Marsala, was doing emo night from Story of the Year. And there was friends that were going to be there. So we did the show, went out there, and I got to introduce David to Dan, and then all of our other friends and so many other people that were there. So we are always celebrating like fucking how beautiful this life is and how fucking cool it is. And I promise that is not a religious thing. And if you're religious, that's okay. But I will say I kind of can't get away from feeling spiritual, and that there's a beautiful feeling. That's not, and spiritual just means you feel connected to everybody and everyone around you, and we're not even fucking taking mushrooms. We just feel fucking good. So we all got to hang out, and at one point I just remember I was with David Brooks, dude, and I was like, oh, what if we might be having like the most fun? Because as comics, you always feel like you're like, this is the best life. I love that I always describe it as weirdos meet weirdos. we all met each other, and that's why, and I love when people can just hang out and not compare each other, be like, that guy's doing better than me, she's doing better. Like, who cares? Let's just fucking hang out. And we really were doing that. We got to like fucking be together and yeah, share that experience. And that's really what it's all about. And then fucking got to hang out once again with my favorite lead singer from my favorite band, Dan Marsala. And we all got to fucking just be together. And then the next night we got to hang out, and there's a manager in town from fucking Indianapolis. There's a manager in town from Philly. My buddy just was in Buffalo, and now he's back. And we were all hanging out, and just I've really been feeling like people around us, like I do feel like the spirit of like fucking happiness, and like we're all yeah. Like we all got some fucking special life to live, you know? Fucking danced our hearts out. I slipped so fucking hard. I fell down so hard. And you know when you fall down hard and stand up and laugh, and then you kind of look around expecting someone to be like, I saw you, you're fine. No one did that. I just had to be like, but so we had a great time. And then my friend Michaela, it was her 30th birthday, so I got to see her and friends who were in town from out of town, and we all got to hang out. And fuck if I didn't just have, yeah, just a beautiful, loving weekend. So that was something that I haven't done in a long time, is feel grateful. And I kind of had, I was kind of weird with that word grateful, because it always felt like, to me, I was, and this is just me, but I felt like a disassociation with that word, to be like, well, if I'm grateful, do I have to like bow down to be like, well, I don't even, like, it almost feels like I'm not even going to try anymore. Why try or feel happy if I'll just be where I am? And it felt like it removed tenacity. But now I've just realized that certain things don't have to be mutually exclusive, I guess. And realizing that that I can be grateful. And that's how I've been feeling lately, is like, like I was even tired. My friend, it was her birthday. I'm like, you know what? Let's go hang out. And then, yeah. Yeah, just trying to realize how fucking, how special this is. Because sometimes people say that and they're like, and I feel grateful. And you're like, oh my God, are you about to read a sermon? What the fuck? But then every once in a while you're like, fuck, it is special. And it is cool that I get to fucking have free will and fucking drink coffee and call friends and feel love and feel pain. Isn't that fucking special? I'm not talking on a high horse. I am just fucking sad and talking out of my mouth. What a beautiful life, right? I really mean that. And that's what's so sad. Even right now, like as you get sad, you're like, fuck, dude. Like, I guess it is. I don't know for sure. And I don't have, but it's like, it is, I guess, good to like, to feel every part of like being a human. And I keep thinking about, should like releasing this episode, but I have to, because I am just being honest, and this is how one human has made me feel, because they're just such a beautiful existence. So please celebrate life. Don't let it don't miss it, because you got special people you're out there. If I never did stand up, I would there's the chances of me meeting Kenny Deforest, the chances so slim. For me to be like, oh, I'll be at a show, meet him, become friends. They're very slim. So I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad that I have a Kenny Deforest in my life, and that I get to love him so much and get to think about him and thinking about his fucking speedy ass recovery and just thinking about him being okay. And yeah, if you're a comic and you know him, there are other comics out there. So we all know him. We all know and love him. So call him, share stories, because there are stories that it's easier to talk about with comics than on a podcast. And there are feelings that you can have, like, like one that I'm joking about, that like there are other people that you would never want it to happen to someone else. You just don't want something to happen to someone who's the best of all of us. What if I said it 3 times? Love you, buddy. Love you, Kenny D. Love you out there. Yeah. Please call someone you love. Someone you love. You don't have to be sad. You're like, I haven't talked to that one person in a while. You know what? Maybe there's a reason, but the person that would never do that to you, the person that you love, that you think about, that is nice to you regardless of your mood, attitude, feelings, beliefs, whatever. I hope you reach out to that person, and I hope you let them know how much you love them, because those people are special. And that's how Kenny Deforest is. Sweetest. Thinking about you. Positive thinking about you. Fuck. Life is hard. That's it. I don't even know where to go with this. I'm going to release it, even though it's me being fucking real mixed up. But we all love Kenny. Please go check out the GoFundMe. It is in my bio right now. It's in probably every comedian's. There's a link on stories. Go and get Kenny Deforest. Please go look him up. Help him. We love him, and he needs your help. And please do that. I love you. That's the episode this week. Goodbye.